So today, I'm going to talk to you about public speaking. Right? You guys are probably wondering, you're probably thinking that's really unprofessional for me to be talking, chewing gum during my speech. That's why it's human nature to think wisely and act foolishly. One story of this was when I was running cross country in high school, and we do the routes that the longest roads that we can do with the least amount of lights. And one of the roads led to this one girl I was dating. And throughout the whole year, I decided to, every time we'd run that route, I'd skip the run, be like a mile into it, and go to her house and hang out. And I did this for about a good month, throughout the whole season, really. And one day, we were young, we did a lot of stuff together, really early in the morning. And one morning, while everyone was asleep, we were doing something. I shouldn't mention class. And we hear something, so we started dressing back up, and we hear her dad come through the door. We're kind of freaking out. And he comes in, he screams, he starts cursing at me, yelling. And I knew the wisest thing to do was to leave, but I didn't. And because I chose not to leave, I knew what to do, but I chose to act dumb and act like I didn't know what I was doing there and saying, "Oh my God, what are you doing here?" Like questioning him I was acting foolishly, but I knew what to do. The second example was when I was a lot younger. Me and my cousins Jackass was a really big show at the time, and so we thought it'd be funny to get a ripstick, which is a board that you just sway and has two wheels, and see how long we can go going down the stairs with it. And I told my cousin that it would be funny if he just goes and I hop on his back. Now it wasn't the smartest idea, so I get on his back and he goes down, and while he's going down, I thought it'd be funny to jump off and try to give him a boost so he'd go faster, because we were starting to wobble. So as I'm jumping off, I threw him too far, and he goes tumbling down the cylinder stairs, like the brick stairs. Yeah, it was pretty bad. He broke his arm. Now I knew the wisest thing to do was to not try to play jackass, but we decided to do it anyways. And the third example is when you ever have, you did something bad and you have to talk to your parents about it, and you're getting in trouble when you get home. Well, I remember what we did, what me and my sisters did, but we knew we were getting in trouble. And you remember that feeling, you just want to start laughing. You have to be serious with your parents, but you just want to start laughing so hard. And my dad's cursing, why would you do this and that? And I started laughing. My dad's really old school, so he started whipping us with the belt and stuff, and you just can't stop laughing. Well, the wisest thing to do is be quiet and just take the whipping and beating. But we decided you can't help it, to be foolish and just start laughing. Even you start hitting someone else harder, you're looking at them crying, you start laughing. So my point is, it's human nature to think wise, but we act foolish.
It's about 3:37. Wait, I have this. All right, JoJo, I like the
clever personal illustration you have at the beginning to get our attention. That was fine. Your point is clearly expressed, and it's related to the topic that you've got. You don't really have a strong preview of what the structure is going to be, but there's a little bit of organization in the speech because you have distinct ideas that you're going to talk about and illustrations to make the point. So that's okay. The presentation elements, you've got lots of energy in your voice and projection, so that's solid, and there's a good variety in your voice. Sometimes the pacing makes it sound like you are rushing, sometimes you're a little hesitant. I think part of it is that there's not really a consistent tone to what it is you're saying, and that makes it feel a little bit disjointed during the presentation. There are lots of gestures while you're speaking. You've got some good descriptive gestures. And your facial expression, look, you're smiling a lot, and that seems friendly, but sometimes the smiling seems like it's a little anxiety covering, and so you want to be careful about doing that too much. It's like when you're smiling at the, well, you talked about your, losing control and laughing at your father beating the kids, that sort of thing. It's a little bit like that. Not exactly the same thing because I'm not going to beat you, but that's a problem. You have a tendency, even though you look at the audience pretty regularly, you have a tendency to kind of look down and off to the right while you're speaking, and you got to try and break that habit because it's sort of like I'm looking over here for something to see on the ground that's going to tell me what's next instead of talking to us, and so you look up pretty regularly, but you disengage pretty regularly too, and that's, I think, a little bit of a problem. All right, thank you. Now we need Kyle to come get a topic and go out and get Roberto. Who do we send out?
You mean you want to?
Kyle's already out?
You want Roberto to get a topic?
Yeah, that's it. No, that's it. That's what I want. I just put things in the wrong order here. I don't know which one to get. You want the good ones.